Okay, so now we're going to talk about the other special right triangle, and this one's called a 30, 60, 90. Okay, so as you can guess, those are the angles that we have. And again, being able to do these is just, if you get how the pattern works, you can do them faster, like shortcuts. But if you get stuck, you can always use SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so this would just be like shortcuts. So here's how these work. 60 degrees, this would be the long side. Okay, the long side. This is not the longest side because that's your hypotenuse, but that's the long side. And then the 30 degrees goes with the short side. Okay, so the long side, let me use a different color here. That one is x square root of 3. And this one is x. And this one's 2x. Okay, a little bit different than the 45, because the 45, both sides were the same. But here, since we have different angles, we have different sides. But those are always the same. So those are always consistent. The 60-degree angle is always this, the 30-degree angle is always this, and the hypotenuse is always that. So again, let me do an example here with example 1 so you can see how this is applied. So let's say I have this 30, 60-degree angle here. Here's my 60 degrees. Just be real careful when you're doing these. Unlike the 45 where they're both the same, you have to pay close attention which one's the 60, which one's the 30, that way you know which one's the long side, which one's the short side. Okay. So for this particular problem, they give us 5. And of course, if they give you 30 degrees, you can always know the other angle is 60 degrees. If they give you 60 degrees, you always know the other angle is 30 degrees. Okay. But for this one, guys, I would really strongly recommend you do this with this one. You set up the sides, right? So we know the 60-degree side has to be x square root of 3. This has to be 2x, and this side has to be x. So those three things I would set up over here. I would say x equals 2x, x square root of 3. And then I would just work backwards. So for example, on this one I know x is 5, so I put x is 5. So for all these, x is 5. So I know the hypotenuse is 2x, so it would be 2 times 5, which is 10. So this side, and I use a different color here, but this side would be 10. Right? And then this one would be, again, x is 5, so 5 square root of 3. So that means that this side is 5 square root of 3. So there's your three sides, 5 square root of 3, and 10. Again, I need to repeat this because it's really important. You can also use SOHCAHTOA with this, sine, cosine, or tangent. If you use SOHCAHTOA, you would not get this exact answer. You would get the approximate answer when you use your calculator. So 5 times square root of 3 is 8.7. So it's just approximately 8.7. So just know that if you see this kind of answer on the test, just put it in your calculator and see what that's approximately equal to. So I would take questions from you, but you're not here again, so let's move on. Let's do example 2. Again, we'll do 3 examples, and I think that should be good enough. So example 2 looks like this. And 30 doesn't have to be on the top or bottom. They can be, again, the triangle can be flipped any what way. So this is your 60, so automatically this is the 30. And for this particular problem, they give us the 20. They give us the hypotenuse. So again, really important with these, I would write these on the side. X is this, x square root of 3, and the hypotenuse is 2x. Okay. And looking back at my reference angle, I know the hypotenuse has to be 2x. The short side, the 30 degrees, has to be x, and then the long side has to be x square root of 3. So the value that they gave us is the hypotenuse, so that's the 2x. So if I solve that simple equation, if I work backwards, right, I would divide both sides by 2. If I divide both sides by 2, x equals 10, right? Because 20 divided by 2 is 10. So I know what x is now. Right? So x is 10. This side is 10. And then super simple again. X is 10. So this side is 10 square root of 3. So 10 square root of 3. Okay. Once you get how the pattern works, they're meant to be like shortcuts, so you can do them faster than using SOHCAHTOA. Okay, let's do one last one. Okay, we have 60, 30, and I didn't put a number on this one. I don't have any number. I forgot to write it down. So let's make something up. Let's say this side, this one's probably, since I'm going to make it up, it'll probably be harder. But I guess let's keep it easy. Let's say this side is 5. Can we do one like that or no? No, we already did a 5. Let's do 4. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Let's do 4 and see what happens. Okay. So again, we fill in what each side is. So the 30 side is x, this side is 2x, and then this side is x square root of 3. This one might work out a little uglier because I just made it up, but it's okay. So you can see an ugly one. So x, 2x, and x square root of 3. Okay, so the side that I gave you here is that one. So I said this one's 4. Okay, so this one is going to turn out a little bit ugly, but no, nothing too big. We solve for x, so we divide by square root of 3 on both sides. And then once again, we can't have a square root on the bottom. You could look at notes 4.1 for that. But you just multiply by that same square root on the top and the bottom. And what happens is that cancels your square root. And this is what you get. In this case, the 4 and the 3 don't cancel because there's not a number that goes into 4 and 3. But what this means, notice I just have x by myself. So x by itself, so x equals that. So x equals 4 square root of 3 over 3. Okay, so this side is 4 square root of 3 over 3. If you use SOHCAHTOA on the calculator, then you would get this answer. Let me type it in real quick. 4 square root of 3 divided by 3. So this is approximate 2.3. Okay, that's the answer you would have got. And then on this one, on the 2x, I don't have a lot of space there, so I'm going to come over here. 2x would simply be 2 times x. X is 4 square root of 3 over 3. So it's just 2 times 4. So it'd be 8 square root of 3 over 3. Okay, so this side would be 8 square root of 3 over 3. Just to be clear, those 3's don't cancel because this one's in a square root and this one is not. Okay guys, so I think that covers 30, 60, 90. This one's uglier probably than any of the ones that you have on the homework or the test. So if you can understand this one, you'll be just fine. But again, let me restate because this is really important. These are shortcuts. If they don't make sense to you, you can still just use SOHCAHTOA. So you could have done the test without even doing this lesson. But it is convenient to know it because unlike this one that had a little bit more work, just think about how fast we were able to do that one. But I'll go ahead and stop the video here.